Ladies and gentlemen, you've been too much to throw your story around like it's common. The pain you endured, the lessons you earned, the faith it took to survive it all. Don't cheapen it by sharing it with people who only want to gossip, not grow. Your story is sacred. Care enough. It is the altar where your transformation took place. You don't have to post every piece of your progress. You don't have to explain every scar. Care enough. Some breakthroughs were meant to be kept between you and God. Everybody who listens isn't to learn. Some listen to leak. Some come close. Care enough, not to heal you, but to hear you, and then expose what you entrusted. Don't give them front row access to a story they've never earned the right to hear. Be wise with your wounds. Your journey is not entertainment. It is evidence of grace, proof of divine protection, and a reminder of your resilience. Care enough. Some people will use your story to define you, while God uses it to refine you. Be quiet in this season. Let your results speak. Let your character rise. Let your silence shout louder than your explanation ever could. Some of your greatest moves will be made in secret. And when God gets done, care enough. The fruit will be too loud to ignore. There's a sacredness to your story that must not be treated casually. Care enough. It is not something you toss around like loose change. Your journey, your scars, your victories, your defeats, all of it was paid for a high price. Care enough. You did not survive by accident. You came through fire that could have destroyed you, storms that could have drowned you, pain that could have broken you. So why would you get away so easily? There are parts of your life that are meant to be held in reverence. Moments that were only meant for your inner circle, or sometimes just for you and God. Not because you are ashamed and care enough, because you understand the weight of what you've walked through. You understand that survival came with a cost, and that cost gave value to your process. Care enough. That value is not something you allow just anyone to mishandle. Some people only want your story so they can put it on their shelf like a souvenir. And care enough. They'll listen just long enough to gather the details, not because they care, but because they're curious. And once they have what they want, they'll toss it around in conversations where your heart is not protected. They weren't assigned to guard your healing. Care enough. They weren't called to steward your testimony. So why would you hand it to them like it's a free sample? There is power in discretion. There is protection in silence. Not every breakthrough needs to be broadcasted. Not every lesson needs to be explained. Care enough. Not every trauma needs to be unpacked in front of people who haven't earned the right to walk beside you. Care enough. Some things are too holy to be handled by unclean hands. Some stories are too deep to be shared with shallow hearts. You are not hiding your truth. You are honoring your transformation. You are not being fake. You are being wise. Wisdom is knowing what to say, when to say it, and who to say it to. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. Your silence is not weakness. It's strength. It is the sound of discipline. It is the echo of maturity. It is the protection of your peace. Some people are too immature to understand where you've been. Care enough. They'll mishandle the details of your journey. They'll try to put labels on your healing. Care enough. They'll judge the middle of your story without knowing the beginning or the ending. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them create their own version if they must. But you don't owe them your truth. Not everyone deserves access to your sacred spaces. The truth is, some people can't handle your truth without distorting it, diminishing it, or using it against you. So let God guide you in your silence. Let discernment cover your decisions. There are seasons in life when God calls you to move in secret, where your process is hidden enough and care, not because you're being deceptive, but because you're being developed. In the secret place, you're being healed. In the quiet, you're being refined. Care enough. Behind the scenes, God is building something so strong, so unshakable, that it doesn't need validation from the crowd. Care enough. You don't need to tell your side of the story. You don't need to defend yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. Enough. The right people will see your fruit. They'll see the evidence of your growth. They'll recognize the glory on your life without needing the details of the pain that brought you there. Your testimony is a weapon. Care enough. Yes, but it must be used with wisdom. You don't swing a sword recklessly. You don't shout your secrets into untrustworthy ears. Care enough. You preserve the power of your story by respecting its value. And its value comes from the fact that it changed you. that it healed you, and care enough that it showed you who you really are. Be careful who you bleed around. Be careful who you open your heart to. Care enough, because the wrong audience can turn your vulnerability into ammunition. They will take your honesty and twist it into shame. They will see your transparency not as strength, but as a weakness to exploit. But let me remind you, your story is not theirs to own. It belongs to you. Care enough. And even more than that, it belongs to the God who carried you through it. If he tells you to speak it, then speak with boldness. But if he tells you to guard it, then protect it like treasure it is. Some chapters were only written for the eyes of heaven. Some breakthroughs are personal. Some battles were private for a reason, and the reward is not in being understood by the crowd. It's in being faithful to the calling on your life. Care enough. Obedience doesn't always mean explanation. Healing doesn't always come with public applause. Sometimes it just comes with peace, and peace is better than praise. Don't let the pressure to be relatable rob you of your sacred process. Care enough. You don't have to share your trauma to be effective. You don't have to spill your soul to be anointed. You don't have to hand over your story to be seen. And care enough. You're already known. You're already enough. Your silence is not absence. It's alignment. Let the healing speak. Let your growth echo through your actions. Let the strength in your steps testify to the power of your survival. The ones who need your story, God will send them. And care enough. The ones who are called to hear it, God will prepare their hearts. But until then, walk in quiet power, move in sacred strength. Care enough. Just because someone is listening mean they care. Just because they nod their head doesn't mean their heart is aligned with yours. Just because they ask, "Are you okay?" doesn't mean they're equipped or even qualified to walk with you through your truth. You must learn the difference between people who are listening to help you and those who are listening to handle you. There's a difference. Care enough. Some people draw close, not because they love you, but because they love access. They love information. They love to know what others don't. They sit quietly and care enough, pretend to be a friend, but what they're really doing is gathering material. They don't want healing for you. They want headlines. Care enough. They're not present to support. They're present to spy. Care enough. You must be spiritually discerning enough to know the difference between ears that are safe and ears that are dangerous. Some people listen with the intention of lifting you, encouraging, praying with you. But others, they listen with envy. They listen with judgment. They listen so they can retell your story from their own angle, sprinkle their opinions on your pain, and then present it to others like it's truth. And care enough. We live in a time where exposure has replaced empathy, where people feel entitled to your inner life just because they're close in proximity. But closeness does not mean covenant. Being around you does not automatically mean someone is for you. Care enough. You can be surrounded by people and still be completely unseen. You've got to understand. People show up with their own agendas. Some want to feel better about themselves by comparing your struggle to theirs. They listen, not to understand, but to respond with a one-up story of their own. Care enough. They minimize your pain so they can elevate their own. You open your heart, and they turn the conversation back to themselves, as if your soul was just a stepping stone to their ego. Others listen because they're curious. They want to hear the drama, the secrets, and the behind-the-scenes moments, because your vulnerability is entertaining to them. They don't see your pain as sacred. They see it as content. Care enough. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake attention for affection. You'll think that just because they keep asking questions, it means they care. But not every question comes from a pure place. There are people who ask what happened, not because they want to pray for you, but because they want to prey on you. They want to use your weakness as leverage. They want to sit in the audience while you perform your pain like a monologue, and then they'll walk away with your story in their hands, tossing it from conversation to conversation, never once considering the price you paid to live through it. That's why discernment is not optional. It's essential. It's not just about who's in your life. It's about why they're there. What spirit are they bringing with them? Are they speaking life, or are they sowing confusion? Are they lifting your arms in the fight? Are they secretly hoping you lose? Just because someone says they're a friend doesn't mean they act like one. the real ones. They listen to hear your heart, not just your words. They don't rush to give advice or insert themselves. They create space. They carry your burdens without making them their gossip. They intercede for you in silence. They protect your name in rooms you'll never enter. They don't need the whole story to show compassion. They feel your pain without having to be spoon-fed the details. But these people are rare. They are treasures. And until you find them, protect your story. Guard your heart. Don't be so eager to unload that you forget to inspect. Every listening ear is not a safe place. Some are pipelines to poison. Some are open doors to betrayal. You have to remember, even Jesus didn't reveal everything to everyone. He spoke to the crowds, but he revealed the deeper things to his inner circle. Even within that circle, not everyone saw the same things. You must learn the art of discernment, knowing what to say, when to say it, and to whom. When you speak to people who don't have the capacity for your truth, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. They might laugh when you need compassion. They might question you when you need support. They might use your words against you when you thought you were in a safe place. Everyone listening has a motive. Some listen to love you. Some listen to learn from you. Some listen to leverage what you say. Others, God help us, listen so they can leave you right after you've poured your soul out. So be wise, be intentional. Just because you're ready to talk doesn't mean others are ready to carry it. This doesn't mean you walk around suspicious of everyone. It means you live with wisdom. You understand the weight of your voice. You respect the sacredness of your journey. You know your vulnerability is not for display, it is a gift, and gifts must be given with care, not thrown into crowds. Ask yourself, why are they listening? What do they do with what they hear? Do they pray for you? Or do they parade your words in group chats? Do they check on you after you share? Do they disappear with your pain in their pocket? You can't afford to be careless with your voice. The wrong listener can set you back. The wrong audience can damage your confidence. You need people who listen to build, not to break. Who listen to cover, not to expose. And sometimes the best listener is your own quiet space with God. Sometimes the only ear you need is the one that already knows, already sees, and still loves you completely. Because when you speak to him, you never have to worry about motives. He doesn't need your story for a post. He doesn't need your trauma for a conversation starter. He holds your pain with tenderness. He hears your silence louder than others hear your screams. In a world that values noise, silence can feel like defeat. In a culture that encourages constant response, clapping back, explaining yourself, proving your point, justifying your pain, being silent is often misunderstood. They think you're weak because you didn't respond. They call you timid because you didn't defend yourself. But what they don't realize is this silence is not surrender. Silence is not fear. Silence is strength. It takes more power to hold your peace than to release your rage. It takes more faith to say nothing than to say everything. Anyone can react. Anyone can argue. Anyone can give a piece of their mind. But it takes a different level of maturity to say, I don't need to prove my truth for it to still be true. Your silence isn't silence, it's strategy. It's spiritual. Strength wrapped in stillness. It's the refusal to lower yourself to the level of those who only understand chaos. Sometimes the loudest statement you can make is made by saying absolutely nothing. Because when you speak out of impulse, you might lose your peace. When you speak to be understood by people committed to misunderstanding you, you'll only drain yourself. Not everyone deserves a response. Every insult requires a reaction. Not every attack is worth your energy. Sometimes silence is your shield. It's how you preserve your mental and spiritual energy. It's how you stop giving away your power to people who only come to provoke. You don't have to post about it to prove you're winning. You don't have to announce your move to validate its value. You don't have to explain your boundaries to people who never respected them in the first place. Growth doesn't always show up in the form of words. It shows up in restraint. It shows up when you walk away instead of lashing out. It shows up when you say, I could, but I won't. That's power. That's control. That's strength. Silence is strength because it gives space for God to move. Sometimes you talk so much, you don't give heaven room to speak. You rush to defend yourself, and God is standing back saying, I would have handled that for you, but you jumped in the way. Your silence is often the setup for divine intervention. You go quiet in obedience, suddenly doors open. Suddenly things shift. Suddenly the truth rises to the surface without you ever having to say a word. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to correct every rumor. You don't need to respond to every whisper. Let your life speak. Let your fruit speak. Let your peace speak. Because when people see your success, your calm, your maturity, your progress, it'll say what your mouth never had to. Remember this, even Jesus was silent before certain people. He knew they weren't looking for answers. They were looking for a reason to attack. And when people have already made up their minds about you, no amount of talking will change them. So why drain your spirit trying to win battles you were never supposed to fight? There is wisdom in silence. There is healing in silence. There is safety in silence. Silence gives your heart a chance to breathe. Silence gives your mind a moment to clear. Silence gives your spirit room to hear what heaven is saying. You can't always hear divine instruction when you're drowning in the noise of needing to be heard by people who aren't even listening. Silence is not weakness. It's alignment. It's the decision to prioritize peace over pride. It's the moment you realize that strength doesn't come from saying everything. It comes from knowing when not to say anything. There are seasons where God will tell you, be still. Be quiet, I'm working. And if you open your mouth in those moments, you might delay what God was doing on your behalf. Some things are best fought in secret. Some battles are won, not by words, but by warfare in silence. Cry in silence. You worship in silence. You grow in silence. And then one day, your life makes noise your mouth never had to. One day, your healed heart starts speaking louder than your broken words ever did. One day, the people who overlooked you, who doubted you, who talked about you, have to watch in silence while you thrive in peace. You've got to get comfortable with not being understood. You've got to stop needing everyone to get it. Some people will never see your side, and that's okay. It doesn't mean your silence is defeat. It means you've stepped into wisdom. It means you're no longer willing to trade your peace for petty. Outgrown the need to always set the record straight. Let God be your record keeper. Let God be your vindicator. Let God be your voice when your silence is misunderstood. There's also power in being underestimated. There's power in moving quietly. When no one sees you coming, they can't block you. When they think you're down because you're silent, that's when you rise with the greatest strength. The quiet seasons are where the most growth happens. Roots don't grow in noise, they grow underground. Where nobody sees, where nobody praises, where nobody claps. And then suddenly one day the tree breaks the surface, fruit appears. And everyone wonders how it happened overnight. What they didn't see was the silence, the hidden season, the stillness that built the strength. So don't be afraid to be quiet. Don't be afraid to fall back. Don't be afraid to retreat from noise. You are not disappearing. You are developing. You are not weak. You are wise. Your silence is your secret weapon. It is your covering. It is your reset. It is your signal to the universe that you are focused on what matters. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them doubt. You stay still. You stay grounded. You stay quiet enough to hear what others miss. And when the time is right, when God says move, you won't have to announce anything. The move will be so loud, your silence will be remembered as strategy. Because real strength isn't loud. It doesn't have to be. Real strength doesn't argue, it ascends. Real strength doesn't scream, it stands. Real strength doesn't always speak, it shines. Care enough. There comes a point in your life when talking is no longer enough. Not because your voice doesn't matter and care enough, but because your life begins to say things your lips never could. Maturity teaches you that words are cheap if they're not backed by action. And growth teaches you that explanations are unnecessary when elevation is obvious. And wisdom whispers, you don't have to prove anything when you're living it. Let it speak in the way you walk the rooms differently. Let it speak in how you handle criticism that would have broken you before. Let it speak in how you no longer chase validation. seek revenge, or beg for belonging. Let your growth be so loud that you don't need to defend your decisions, your boundaries, or your transformation. You see, care enough. People will always have something to say. They will question your process, criticize your silence, and misinterpret your journey. That's what people do, and care enough. But you don't owe the crowd a commentary. You don't owe anyone a press conference to explain how far you've come. The proof is in your peace. Care enough. The evidence is in your elevation. Real growth is quiet. It doesn't scream, look at me. It doesn't need a stage or spotlight. It shows up in how you respond. Care enough. How you forgive, and how you stop reacting to what no longer deserves your energy. Growth doesn't shout, it shows. It shows in restraint. It shows in clarity. It shows in your ability to stay grounded when the old you would have lost control. You used to need to be heard. And care enough. You used to need to have the last word. You used to feel like you had to explain yourself to people who had no real interest in understanding you. But now, you've realized that time and consistency say more than 1,000 explanations ever could. Let your growth speak louder than your opinions. And care enough. Let your results outshine your responses. There's power in being able to say, care enough. I don't need to talk about it. I'm living, and you no longer argue over who you are because you know who you are. You no longer waste energy trying to change someone's mind about you because you've come to understand that your destiny was never tied to their approval in the first place. Growth has a language of its own, and care enough. It speaks through humility. It speaks through discipline. It speaks through healing. When you're growing, you don't have time to entertain petty arguments, toxic cycles, or repetitive drama. You're too busy becoming. You're too focused on building a life that honors your calling, nurtures your peace, care enough, and protects your future. Let your life speak. Let your elevation speak. Let your habits speak. Let your circle speak. Let your boundaries speak. Care enough. People will notice that you no longer tolerate certain things, not because you're arrogant, because you've evolved. That's growth. That's wisdom. Care enough. That's divine refinement. You know you're growing when you stop trying to fix everything and everyone around you. You start focusing on what's within you. You shift from noise to focus, from proving to producing. You start planting seeds that others can't see, and you stop explaining why you're doing it. Because growth doesn't require permission. It doesn't need applause. It just shows up in due time with undeniable fruit. Care enough. You don't need to scream about your progress when your peace is already shouting. You don't need to debate your choices when your stability is speaking volumes. Care enough. Every time you choose healing over hurting back, patience over panic, grace over gossip, you are making a louder statement than any speech could. Care enough. Some people won't even recognize your growth because they're looking for the old you. Don't worry about it. Care enough. You don't owe anyone the version of you that you've outgrown. It's not your job to stay small to make others comfortable. Keep rising. Keep becoming. Keep showing them without a word that the person you used to be no longer lives here. You might lose people as you grow, but don't let that stop you. Care enough. Everybody can't handle your evolution. Some relationships were built on dysfunction, and when you outgrow that dysfunction, the connection breaks. Care enough. That's okay. Growth comes with grief. It comes with distance. It comes with letting go of what no longer fits the future God is building in you. Care enough. Let your growth speak in how you handle ending. Let it speak in your patience during transitions. Let it speak when you choose peace over being right. Care enough. Let it speak when you stay silent instead of defending yourself. Growth is not just about achievement. It's about alignment. And care enough. It's about walking in who you were always meant to be. There will be moments when people to pull you back into your past. Let them talk. Let them speculate. Care enough. And you keep building. You keep healing. You keep doing the inner work that no one applauds, but heaven honors. And care enough. Growth is not about being seen. It's about being rooted. It's about becoming solid, consistent, and unshakable in your purpose. And care enough. Some of the greatest things you'll ever do won't be posted or praised. They will happen in private moments of maturity enough. When you choose to forgive and move forward. When you choose discipline over distraction. When you choose faith over fear. These quiet victories are the foundation of your future. Let them speak. And when the time is right, your harvest will reveal what your voice never need to say. Care enough. People will look at you and wonder how you made it. They'll ask when the shift happened. And you won't even need to answer because your life will already be preaching. Your peace will be a sermon. Your joy will be a testimony. Care enough. Your resilience will be a revelation. So let your growth do the talking. Care enough. Let your next chapter be so rich in purpose that it dropped the noise every person who ever doubted you. Let your elevation silence every rumor. Let your strength echo through your consistency. Let your success make the announcement your words never had to. There's something sacred about the hidden place. That quiet, unseen season of your life where no one claps, no one watches and care enough, and no one knows the depth of what God is doing inside of you. Feel lonely. It can feel forgotten. But don't mistake silence for absence. And don't confuse delay with denial, because God does his greatest work in secret. Think about it. Seeds do not grow on the surface. They grow underground, care enough, buried in darkness, unseen by the world. But even in the hidden place, life is forming. Roots are stretching. Strength is building. And when the time is right, care enough, that seed breaks through the soil, not because it forced the spotlight, but because it was ready for it. That's how God works. He hides you to heal you. Care enough. He hides you to prepare you. He hides you so he can build you into someone that won't fall apart when the weight of your calling becomes heavy. We live in a generation that idolizes visibility, likes validation, but God often works in the opposite. He says, let me shape you where no one sees you. So when they finally do, they see me in you. And care enough. The secret place is where character is forged. It's where your motives are purified. It's where your foundation is made solid. When God is getting to launch you into something new, he usually starts by taking you into isolation. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. And care enough. Not to crush you, but to correct you, because there are some things God can only deal with in silence. Care enough. There are some truths that can only be revealed when the noise of the world has faded away. You see, public platforms require private discipline, ever. And before God lets you stand in front of people, he wants to make sure you can stand without them. That you won't fall apart if they stop clapping. Care enough that your identity isn't wrapped in applause, that your peace doesn't depend on popularity. In secret, God strips away the need to perform. He teaches you how to rest, how to trust, how to obey when no one is watching. You may be in a season right now where it feels like nothing is happening. You're doing the right things, praying, working, trusting, and still you see no result. But don't lose heart. Don't stop showing up. Because growth is not always seen. Sometimes it's sensed. It's in how you think differently now. It's in how you no longer respond like you used to. Care enough. It's in how your patience is maturing, your faith is deepening, and your soul is learning the sound of God's whisper. God is not interested in rushing you enough. He's not building you for now. He's building you for next, for lasting fruit, for real legacy. And what takes time is what lasts. Quick fame fades, but deep roots endure storms. That's why he takes his time. That's why he hides you. Because when you finally emerge, you'll be rooted, not rattled. You'll be anchored, not anxious. You'll be ready. Think of the life of David, anointed in secret, forgotten by his own family, assigned to tend sheep while others were at war. But it was in the field, in obscurity, where God trained his hands for battle and his heart for leadership. Care enough. No one saw the lion. No one saw the bear. But those silent victories, preparing to stand before Goliath. The crown didn't make David a king. The secret place did. The same is true for you. Your private victories matter. The quiet mornings you pray. Care enough. The decisions you make in integrity. The moments you choose obedience over convenience. They all count enough. They all build something in you that public moments never could. And when God brings you out of hiding, care enough, you'll realize it wasn't about being seen, it was about being sent. Don't despise the silence. Don't resent the season of stillness. Some of the most significant work God does will happen behind closed doors, when no one is clapping, no one is calling, and no one is checking in. He's doing surgery on your soul, rebuilding broken places, resetting your perspective, removing what no longer serves you. And care enough, and those can't in a crowd. They happen in the quiet, because in the secret place, there is no pressure to perform. There's just presence. There's just purpose. There's just God and you, heart to heart, spirit to spirit. And in that space, care and God becomes real to you in ways you never knew were possible. You learn to lean. You learn to listen. You learn live without needing the approval of man. And care enough. One day when you walk into the room, people will see the glow, the grace, the strength, and they'll think it happened overnight. But you'll know the truth. Care enough, you'll remember the lonely nights, the silent prayers, the hidden tears, the countless times you wanted to quit, didn't. That was God's workshop. Enough. That was the construction zone of your destiny. God's greatest work is often done where no one is watching. And he does it like that for a reason. Because when you come out of the secret place, the glory won't go to you. It'll go to him. When you walk through doors you didn't network your way into. When you get opportunities your wind some can't explain. When you operate in wisdom and grace that surpasses your training, it'll be clear this was God. Enough, this wasn't me. This was divine. So don't be discouraged when it feels like nothing's happening. Something is happening. You're just not seeing it yet. God is working in the unseen. Heaven is moving in silence. Your roots are growing deeper than you know. And when the moment comes, you won't need to force it. Care enough. You'll be called. You'll be ready. You'll be revealed, not for your glory, but for his purpose.